Hello, and welcome to our first online computer club meeting. I hope you've all been doing well on your extended summer break. And today we're going to be learning about Booleans and the meaning of and/or/not. So let's look at and first. What does it mean? So let's just take a sentence in English, for example. He is tall and strong. For this statement to be true, he must be tall and he also must be strong. If he is either short or weak, this statement is rendered false. So the only case where an and statement is true is if both parts are also true. If one or more is false, the entire statement is false. Now let's look at what does or mean. So we can take a statement like he is tall or skinny. Now, for this entire statement to be true, he can be tall and skinny, tall and not skinny, or skinny and not tall. As long as one of these parts is true, the entire statement is true. So the difference between an or statement and an and statement is that an or statement is true when both parts are true and when at least one part is true. And the only case where an or statement evaluates false is when both parts are false. Now let's look at what does not mean. Not is basically something you put in front of another statement to flip the Boolean. So if the statement is true and you put a not in front of it, it becomes false. For example, you can see below not true becomes false, not false becomes true, and vice versa. So here's some practice examples. I'll pause the video if I were you, so I can go through these 6 examples, and I'm going to come back soon and go over the answers. Okay, so if you guys pause the video and finish the questions, let's get right to the answers. Now let's look at the first example. True and false in parentheses and true. So we have to look at the parentheses first, true and false. And since this is an and statement with a false inside it, that means it is false. So then the overall statement becomes false and true, which we know is false. The second one is false or parentheses false or true. Now we know false or true evaluates to true, and then false or true evaluates to true. Now the third example, false and parentheses not false. Now let's remember, not false is just true, and then false and true is simply false. The fourth one is not true and not false. Now we have to look at the innermost parentheses, which is not false. That becomes true. Now we can look at the outer parentheses, which is true and true. So that evaluates to true, but there's a not, so then that becomes false. Now the fifth example, true and not false. Let's look at the parentheses, not false. That's actually true. So then true and true is true. Now the sixth example, false or not false. Now not false is true, and false or true is true, because for an or statement, you only need one true for it to be true. I hope you've learned something from this mini lesson, and this concept will be reoccurring throughout your entire career in programming if you decide to do that. Okay, I'll see you in your next lesson. Bye.